All right, cool. We got Clayton now for the American League. Oh, what's up, man? How we doing? Happy
Doing
summer.
good. Yeah, it's good to be back. It's been a minute since we recorded.
Yeah, I'm excited. Well, I'm excited for football season, and I'm excited for you to potentially give me something to look forward to because I just finished recording with Jay Martin. Promised myself that I wasn't going to belabor the Orioles here, but that's where we're going to start because we're going to do American League. I got to get a couple things off my chest, and then I need you to spread some positivity, and then we'll go through the rest of the league. So here's where we're at 43 and 52. I still want, I don't know, we got 2 weeks exactly until the trade deadline. I still want us to win the series against the Rays. We go 2 out of 3, then we get the Guardians, we get the Rockies. I'm not ready to blow it up. I really don't want to. I really want to keep O'Hearn. Batista's the non-starter for me. I really just want to keep the whole team and just see what happens as we get Bradish and Rodriguez and company back.
Mm-hmm.
As a you don't have anything invested in the Orioles. From the outside looking in, is there any hope that you see the Orioles making a run? As you're a Rays fan, right?
Right.
All right, so we're going into the series. Are you nervous about playing the Orioles? What's this? How do you feel about the Orioles as from the outside looking in?
Well, from a Rays perspective, we always kind of struggle with the Orioles, but overall, like their record, I did not think they would be this bad going into the season. We saw what they did last year. Obviously, didn't really work out in the playoffs, but for them to be 43 and 52, I mean, they do have some injuries, but they definitely have the roster, in my opinion, to still be competitive. And with the way the AL is, I mean, you got the Mariners in the last wild card spot at 51 and 45. It's not like there's going to be some decently mid teams making the playoffs. So I definitely think the Orioles still have a shot here, just with how open the AL still seems to be, and with the roster that they have and that we know that can produce.
What about the starting pitchers? What do you see the value being with Morton, Sagano, Eflin? They all seem like if I'm the Dodgers or the Padres. I'm trying to make a run here. Are those the guys that get me over the hump? What are your thoughts on those pitchers? Because those are all the guys that if the Orioles are going to blow it up, they're all in. Their contracts are all up. They're
Mm-hmm.
all of age. Eflin's probably the most attractive, but he's been banged up. What are your thoughts on those 3 pitchers?
Yeah, it definitely seems like in 2025 they're not as attractive of names as they used to be. I do like Eflin the most out of that. Morton, personally, I don't think it's worth it in the long term. I don't think he's getting you to a World Series. I do like Eflin more, but he also just kind of seems like he's not as hot as he was a couple years ago. The couple games I've seen where the Rays have played him, he's gotten absolutely shelled. So that's my
Right.
perspective on him. But yeah, overall, I don't think it's a pitching crew that's going to get you to the World Series in 2025. You've got some good names, but they just aren't as good as they used to be.
And that's why I'm like, just leave it alone. Maybe they they go on that ridiculous run, they sneak in, and
Mm-hmm.
anything can happen. I.e., the Diamondbacks, where they only win like 83 games, I think 83 and 79 a couple years ago.
Yeah.
So whatever. All right, no more Orioles. Let's move to the Rays because that's where you're at. And
Yeah.
they're 50 and 47. So the past week, not great.
Yeah.
What's their position though? They're going to have a ton of road games. It's a very pessimistic outlook when you read a lot of the experts talking about who's going to make a run. Most of them don't think it's going to be the Rays. How
Mm-hmm.
are you viewing it? Are they going to buy at the deadline? Go ahead.
I don't think they'll sell at the deadline like they did last year. Just being the Rays, I kind of doubt they'll buy. We do have new ownership coming in, which is awesome from a fan perspective. But really, we just got to figure out the relief pitching. I'm gonna try and find a tweet on my phone that kind of explains the Rays past couple weeks. Yeah, here we go. So this is a tweet from Evan Klosky, Tampa Bay Rays since June 30th. On the 30th, 6-4 loss. Fairbanks gives up 2 in the ninth. July 2nd, 6-1 lead, almost squandered in the ninth. They win 6-5. July 4th, lead 3-1 in the seventh, lost 4-3. July 5th, lead 5-1 in the sixth, lost 6-5. July 6th, led 4-2 in the eighth, barely won in extras. The eighth, 2-2 in the seventh, lose 4-2. So you'd see it. It's just consistent. A bunch of relief pitching issues. They really need to figure that
Yes.
out. What'd you
Yeah.
say?
I was saying that's why they made the trade in part for Brian Baker
Right.
to the Orioles. Then he came in and promptly contributed to that tweet, I think. So
yeah, definitely. I don't, and that was an interesting case putting him in. I don't know why he was fresh off the plane, and I'm pretty sure we had just called up Joe Boyle, I want to say, that same day, and we immediately put in the guy that just got with the team. So kind of a mixture of weird decisions, but also just overall really bad relief pitching from the Rays. And it sucks because we've seen them do so good for,
this line,
the season.
the lineup's ridiculous. Like on who do you think's the best player on the Rays at this point? Is it Caminero?
It's hard to say. I'd say Aranda probably. He's the most consistent. Caminero he's good. He's going to be a star, but right now he grounds into double plays way too much. I think he leads the league in that by like 10 or something. It's insane, but he's still going to be a really good player nonetheless. But yeah, I'd probably say Aranda, and then pitching wise, it's hard to say. Shane McClanahan will be back soon, so that is promising. He's been on rehab in the minors.
Who gets those last? I mean, everything's really up for grabs in the American League East.
Yeah.
How do you see it finishing up before we get to the Red Sox, Blue Jays, and Yankees? How many wins do you think the Rays get? Will they get the wild card spot?
I do like them getting the wild card spot over the Mariners or Red Sox. I figured one of those, I figure the Red Sox might fall off. I think they're just kind of hot right now. Win total, I could definitely see us getting up to 90.
Really? Do you like the over? Even though being on the road's not going to scare you away?
It is a little bit scary, but the Rays have been better on the road this year. Plus, I think strength of schedule wise, it's like 10th easiest, which isn't like insanely easy, but it's not terrible. So I do like our hopes. Red
Sox, you just mentioned, you put them in the category. Is there something you think they're going to buy at the deadline? If they do, what are the Red Sox looking at? Because they're just loaded with young hitters. Some of them, like you mentioned, they're getting hot now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it feels like they can really make a run if they wanted to. Crochet is dominant. What would you do? How would you handicap the Red Sox here at the deadline?
I would probably just invest in defense and pitching. I'm not sure if how their relief compares to their starting. I know they've had a couple starters that have been pretty rough and a couple have been awesome, but I think they lead the league in errors, and they've been one of the best offensive teams all year. So if they can just figure it out on the defensive side of the ball, I think they could be a playoff team for sure. But at the same time, I don't know what it is about them right now. They're just kind of hot, and they haven't been very consistent all year. I'm really just not completely bought in yet.
Yeah, and I guess that one of the things in baseball you kind of overlook sometimes until you get to the end of the year is just a much longer season at the major league level.
Yeah,
and these guys are used to. What about the Blue Jays? They got Santander from us. When he plays, he's not good. When he doesn't play, the Blue Jays are really good. The Blue Jays need a starting pitcher. I don't think I'm breaking any news there. Their pitching staff is it's old. It's kind of being held together. Blue Jays, I just saw something today that kind of surprised me. They haven't been in first place this long into the season since 2016.
Wow.
Feels like they just can't quite get over the hump, but they've been around. Last year was a down year. Handicap the Blue Jays for me. Were they 55-41? Are they targeting a pitcher? I read that Keller from the Pirates would be an ideal target for them. I'm not sure if he's available. What are your thoughts on Toronto?
Yeah, in my opinion, that makes sense. It's kind of a similar situation. I think they just got hot at the right time. But obviously they won enough games to put them in a position where getting hot would get them to a good point. So I do like their offense. I like their lineup, a lot of names. I can't speak for their pitching as much. Like you said, it is pretty old. So I reckon that would be the way to go for them. But I like them as a playoff team more than the Red Sox right now out of the AL East. I'm kind of got them and the Yankees. Them Yankees and Rays I'm really very even on. I don't think our World Series champion will probably be from the AL East this year, but
the Yankees are going to do a lot at the deadline. They have a lot of holes, and they have a team that, the AL is pretty open with the Tigers being the best team. I don't think Yankees or Astros are going to be afraid of the Tigers. They're going to add. Are they going to get the Suarez kid from from the Diamondbacks? He seems like he would be the good fit. The Yankees need a third baseman. What else about the Yankees? Like when the Rays are playing the Yankees, when are you like, oh, this is a good spot in the lineup. I feel good about this, and then you're like, yeah, I'm a little nervous here because it feels like the what's his face, Ben Rice, Dominguez. They are getting better. I keep saying it, but it feels like this is the best lineup they put together around Judge. They do need a third baseman, as I mentioned. But what do you say?
Yeah, offensively, they're a pretty scary lineup to go against, especially just as a general fan seeing all these names. But, I think if they can get a third base, but they're the Yankees, they can afford to buy. So if they need to do something to get better, I trust they will. But if Ben Rice, and who else? I'm looking through this lineup here. If Ben Rice is one of your worst hitters, I think from other team's perspective, that's pretty good for you offensively.
Yeah.
But with the struggles recently, if the Yankees are going to buy, like they can just do it. It's the MLB. It's the Yankees.
They're going to need a starter. Schmidt just got hurt. Cole's obviously out for the year. Fried's been fantastic. Yeah, I agree with you. It's hard also to know exactly who's available. The trade deadline to me feels like not that it's not worth it, but a lot of noise those last couple weeks leading up to it. I start to get more excited maybe a day or two before the deadline to figure out exactly who's available. So I don't know what pitchers will be there, but the Yankees are going to be at the top of the list looking for somebody. Are you as high on the Tigers as is this the ceiling for, where are we at with Detroit? Can they win the World Series? What do they need to add? Because it feels like their best players are all young. Obviously, Skubal is he's the best. No one can do him. He's the game one starter. They 11-game lead now. The rest of the AL Central, the Twins, Royals, and Guardians can't get out of the way. I doubt one of those teams gets hot enough to catch the Tigers. But what's the ceiling on Detroit? How do you view them?
Ceiling, I'd say a World Series win for sure. I think they can definitely make it out of the AL the way the season's going right now. When I look at their roster, it doesn't really feel like they have a true star. Skubal, yes, but offensively, it doesn't feel like they have a real star player or someone that the offense is built around, I guess. Maybe Riley Green this year. But
real quick before you go, I read they have not used the same lineup more than 4 times this year.
Wow.
Which is pretty incredible. It's just the way they manage, which to your point, it's pretty astute of you saying that because the philosophy is on any given day, it might be better to have you batting here, you batting there, because we don't necessarily have a best player. It's an interesting way to build a team out. So what do they add? If you say the ceiling right now, they can win the World Series if they didn't do anything, what would you add if you were them to get them over the hump or to prepare for the Astros and the Yankees to make a move?
I can't speak on their pitching too much, but I really do love their offensive lineup. I think that can compete with anyone in the MLB. Big on Riley Green. Obviously, Baez having a better year, kind of a comeback.
Great.
Gleyber Torres doing great. McKinstry batting very well. So my mind would say pitching, but I really can't speak on their pitching that well. So
you can always add you can always add a bullpen guy. It's not gonna. I feel like every team probably be like, yeah, I could add another bullpen guy or two. But the Tigers, I think, peaked. It does remind me of the Orioles from 101 season, 2 years ago, which is we're ahead of schedule. Will they do what the Orioles didn't do, which is get a top line starter or whoever the best bullpen guys are available to put them over the hump, because they're going to win this division fairly easily.
Yeah.
Do you, Twins, Royals, or Guardians? Worth talking about. The Royals just made a trade to get Adam Frazier. The Royals really want to make the playoffs this year. They kind of, that's what that trade to me signals. The Twins, God, as Orioles fans, the only other miserable fan base. The Twins can't get out of their own way. They fell apart last year, couldn't make the playoffs. That was depressing. And then the Guardians finally, from the most consistent team, it felt like outside the Astros for a while here in the American League. now every report is they're going to get rid of Quan. They got Flossie, the closer. They got a lot of guys that could be traded. Do you see any of those teams making a run at the wild card?
I think if it was anyone, it would be the Royals. I think coming into the season, a lot of people did expect them to make the playoffs. So to see all three of these teams in the spot that they are now, it's really surprising, especially because just earlier this season, I mean, all of them were in wild card spots for, probably holding those positions for about a month. But if I had to pick any one of those teams, I would say Royals. I just think they have the most complete roster, most ready to compete in the playoffs roster out of those three.
Yeah, it's Lugo, and they might have the best. I mean, depending on how this week and a half goes leading into the deadline, they got Lugo, who will be very coveted by anybody that could get their hands on him. But the Royals want to keep him. It's a hot mess for those teams. Yeah, I feel it. It just makes me think about the Orioles. I'm trying not to think about it. But yeah, it's when you have these types of teams where you're like, man, can we just get hot and make a run at this? We still have a couple months left. I think it's 59% of the season has been played, so it's still a lot of baseball left. But at the same time, I don't know, because the Guardians feel like they have to blow it up because they've kind of been rolling the same roster out for years. Couldn't get over the last year.
Yeah, I definitely think it's with the way their Guardian season is going. I think it's probably time to make a change over in Cleveland. But yeah, when you look at Kansas City's roster, I mean, from an opponent perspective, like most of the guys that come up to the plate, you're going to feel a little bit threatened by. But it's they're sitting at 47 and 50, so it's a weird situation.
Yep, haven't been able to get rolling there. So all right, let's go out west. The Astros. I mean, what a ridiculous situation, right? Like Yordan Alvarez hasn't barely played. When he has played, his numbers are terrible. He'll be back soon. Kyle Tucker's gone. Jose Altuve is having a terrible season, his worst season ever. Bregman's gone. Verlander's gone. But they got the best rotation in the American League. They're just absolutely rolling, 56 and 40. Frustrating because, they're building what Elias and company said the Orioles were going to be, which is just always competitive. Here we are, the Astros, a model of consistency, and they've retooled. Like instead of just doing it, and I didn't even mention Pena has also been hurt for them. But instead of just doing it with hitting, now they've retooled and done it with pitching. Handicap the Astros. What's your impression, and what do you think they're going to do at the deadline?
Yeah, I mean, their rotation is so good. It keeps them competitive. And even looking at their current roster, like this is another team I think definitely has the potential to make a deep playoff run right now. Offensively, there's a couple guys that have slowed down, a couple guys getting old, moving on. But, I mean, you've got new players coming up for them. Paredes that they just picked up, he's been great. Big fan of him.
They've done a great job developing their talent, and the trade for Tucker, like you mentioned, it's just like an investment standpoint. Like you can't do everybody, but instead of just trading them for prospects, they moved. They got major league guys. The Astros have been really good. I imagine that they could use, as you mentioned, everybody could use some bullpen help. It feels like they could use a little bit more pop. I don't know who. I'm not sure exactly what they're thinking. I think they've overachieved a little bit. I think there were some thoughts that this might be because Valdez is going to be a free agent at the end of the year. There's a lot of talk that he might get traded if the Astros, if they just basically tear it down is what the thought was, and instead they're rolling. So it'd be surprising if they didn't win the West. The Mariners might have something to say about it. They're 51 and 45. Handicap the Mariners for me. They're pitching, obviously. They're deep there. It's the same story with the Mariners, right?
Yeah.
The pitching's great. The hitting's inconsistent. Rally, God, how many homers? What's his number going to be by the time we're finished? What do you think he's going to hit?
I mean, if he's at 38 right now, I mean, definitely at least 70.
No, you really think he's going to hit 70?
I think so. If he's already at 38 at this point in the season, I think so.
He's on pace, but the way you said definitely, Bonds at 73, so definitely.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just the way he's rolling. He's And so, especially recently going into the All-Star break, I feel like he had that mindset of like, oh yeah, I'm trying to get this All-Star break record. He goes off and hits like a bunch of bombs in the games right before we get to the break.
It was pretty.
I think he was kind of hungry for that. So if he stays consistent, we're coming up on the end of the season. He's got like 60 in September. I think he definitely gets a little hot and just out of hunger going for that record.
That's funny. All right.
I
Well,
don't
what about
know.
the rest of the team?
65, 70 at least.
All right. Well, what about the rest of the team? They added a Arena last year. That didn't help. Julio Rodriguez is sitting there. They. Do you think Seattle? You said Seattle or the Red Sox were going to fall off. Where are you at with the Mariners? And could they add something that would change your mind?
Yeah, I think besides Raleigh, Julio, and Randy, like offensively, I can't say a whole lot about their team. JP Crawford, not bad, but I think they could use some help there. They do have some pitching injured, correct?
Yeah, Kirby's going to be coming back.
Right. Yeah, if they get Kirby back, that'll be huge. I think they need to add offensively, though. I mean, like you said, it's kind of a case with the Astros. Just looking at their roster, I mean, no one else is sticking out besides Raleigh, Rosarina, and Rodriguez. And Rosarina and Rodriguez have had better seasons themselves. So
where are you at with the Rangers and the Angels have basically the same record, 48 and 49, and then 47 and 49, respectively. But the Rangers have a much different pedigree here over the past few years. They won the World Series a couple years ago.
mm-hmm.
Can they make a move to get rolling here? I know they want to. Evan Carter and Langford, they're probably now their two best players, are young. Where are you at with Texas? Can they make a move? And then same thing with the Angels. Are the Angels ready to make a move, or are they just going to kind of ride out the season the way it is?
I think the Angels will probably just ride out the season the way it is. I really don't know much about them at all. The fact that they're doing this good this year is a huge surprise to me. Rangers, I definitely think, have the players to where they could be a playoff team. They're definitely worse than I thought they would be going into the year. They have offensive struggles been the main culprit for them?
Yeah, when we played them, it felt like something just feels like the vibe's off. A couple stories came out of the clubhouse. They're lacking some leaderships. Guys, they just haven't really put together, frankly, 2 seasons now, about a season and a half ever since they won the World Series. Bochy's there. I imagine they're going to be really aggressive. They would be the team for me to watch because I think if they can get a little bit better starting pitching and go on a run, maybe the vibes get better. I think the Rangers are still dangerous. The Athletics, to me, are kind of similar to the Marlins. I didn't know what your take is on this, but when you're betting down the stretch, I was talking to J Mark about this. And once the season's kind of over with for certain teams, and the Athletics, in about a month from now, they'll basically be eliminated. I guess they could talk themselves into making a run, but realistically, they're on their way to being finished. And when you get to the end of the baseball season, you start to take, from a betting standpoint, you'll bet against the worst teams or bet the best teams minus a run and a half. To me, the Athletics are loaded with offensive firepower, and I'd be scared to bet against them. Do you have the same feeling on the Athletics? Are they going to sell any of their players? Because to me, I would just kind of keep it. They're obviously in flux in Sacramento, but they have a ton of young talent, right?
Yeah, they have a great young offensive core. I think the pitching for them has been like atrocious this year, which is a main reason why they're as bad as they are. But I mean, if they're anything like the Marlins, they'll probably just trade it away. I don't know how the Athletics typically operate front office wise, but yeah, I mean, I love all the young talent on their team. If they can keep all that together, they're going to have a real nice roster in a few years.
Cool. Well, I appreciate you doing a little recap with me. I'm excited for football season. We got a lot going on, so we'll be doing a lot of college football, and I'm excited for that. But I appreciate you coming in because following a lot of the Orioles, but it's just been hard to watch other teams and enjoy baseball when the Orioles have been this bad. So this was one to kind of reset, think about the American League, see where all the rest of the teams are at. So appreciate you doing it with me. And then I'll check in with you. We'll do a college football preview relatively soon. and do NIL. So there's so many moving parts in college football that I wanted to dedicate a whole pod to it here in a few weeks. But cool.
Yeah.
Anything I missed that you wanted to touch on before we roll?
I don't think so. I don't think we need to talk about the White Sox. So
I missed the White Sox. Yeah, there we go. I didn't think we need to talk about the White Sox. Although they'll have a couple pieces that'll help. But yeah, maybe when we get right around the deadline, depending on your schedule, we can do another pod.
Yeah.
So, all right, man. Well, good. Have a good rest of your day. Good to see you again, and I'll see you soon.
Sounds good. See you guys.
All right. See ya.